London 2012. Athletes arriving for Olympic Games. Athletes and officials are arriving at the Olympic Village with 11 days to go until the London Games open. Heathrow Airport is expecting its busiest day on record, and on the main route, the M6, the first priority game lane is in operation. Work is also starting at the lab, which will conduct some 6,000 drug tests. Meanwhile, it has emerged police have had to deploy extra officers from 9 UK forces at short notice to help with security for London 2012. This follows the news that last week, 3,500 troops had been drafted in to plug in gaps after a private security firm, G4S, failed to recruit enough guards for the Games. In the Commons, Home Secretary Theresa May answered an urgent question on Olympic security from Shadow Home Secretary Yvette Cooper, saying that it was untrue that ministers knew last year that there would be a shortfall in the numbers of security personnel they had been promised. The G4S repeatedly assured us that they would overshoot their targets, she said. Ms. May said the government had taken immediate action over becoming aware of the shortage last Wednesday. Not a good first impression of London. Metropolitan Police Assistant Commissioner Chris Allison said, "While some of the activity police officers are undertaking was not anticipated, plans were put into place to allow us to do this. Forces are making sure they make the best use of their resources locally to do all they can do to minimize their impact on local policing." The forces involved include Dorset, Surrey, Hertfordshire, Northumbria, South Wales, Strathclyde, West Midlands, Thames Valley Police, and the Greater Manchester Police. In Southwark, only 17 of an expected 56 G4S staff turned up for work at an Olympic team hotel, and frontline officers had to be pulled in to cover. The chairman of the Great Manchester Police said, "The G4S said measures were being taken that should have led to the withdrawal of officers from private security roles over the coming days." Passenger record. Heathrow is expecting to process as many as 236,955 passengers on Monday, which would surpass its previous record of 233,562 set on July 31st last year. This compares with 190,000 passengers that go through Heathrow on an average day. BBC News correspondent at the Heathrow Airport have put up a warning. If you have nothing to do with the Olympics and are flying into Heathrow in the next few days, don't wear a tracksuit. Anyone resembling an athlete is jumped on by the media. What do you think of London? How excited are you about the Games? Having that said, we've already had hundreds of athletes to Terminal 4 on Monday. The American sailing team were the first to fly in. Italian, Ivory Coast, and Cambodia are expected in the next few hours. Some carry javelins and sails and outsized baggages, maybe leaving a little bit of space in their suitcases for a medal. They are welcomed by a huge crew of smiling, garishly dressed Olympic volunteers and by armed officers with sniffer dogs. So far, the airport process has apparently been quick and pain-free for athletes. But it is early days, and they haven't crossed London yet. Some 335 competitors are expected on Monday as part of the 1,027 so-called Games family arrivals, which includes athletes and coaches from more than 50 countries. Heathrow operator BA expects the busiest day for arriving athletes will be July 24th. Today heralds the start of Britain's biggest peacetime transport challenge and Heathrow's busiest ever period. Volunteers have been directing athletes to the coaches and trains, taking many of them to Olympic Village in Stratford, East London, which opened on Monday. Two-time 400-meter hurdle world champion Karen Clement claimed on the website Twitter that his coach to the village had become lost for 4 hours. The American tweeted, "So we've been lost on the road for 4 hours. Not a good first impression, London." The village will house 60,000 athletes and at its official peak. Those leaving the airport by road should benefit from the first of the game lanes, which at busy times will operate between Junction 3 and Junction 2 of the M4 motorway towards London. The rest of the 30 miles of dedicated lanes in the Olympic Route Network, or N, will be operational by the middle of next week, with heavy fines for those who misuse them. All road users will be able to go into lanes when they are not in use overnight. Sports Minister Hugh Robertson said the authorities had planned to lift restriction if they were causing a gridlock. Kevin Delaney from the Institute of Advanced Motorists said the lanes could exacerbate traffic problems in the capital. If anything goes wrong with the central and inner London transport, we tend to get a wholly disproportionate amount of congestion. The games lanes themselves will actually impose serious constraints on this already stretched network, he told BBC. The biggest anti-doping operation in the history of the Olympics is also beginning at the London 2012 laboratory. Half of the competitors will be tested, including every medalist at the Olympics and the Paralympics. G4S Chief Executive Nick Buckles is due to appear before the Home Affairs Select Committee on Tuesday to answer the Prime Minister's questions about the firm's failures over the game. Some 335 competitors are expected at Heathrow on Monday as part of 1,027 game family arrivals. The company has said it stands to lose up to £50 million on the contract, worth a total of about £280 million after being unable to provide the 10,000 staff it had been contracted to deliver. BBC political correspondent Robin Brandt says Labour thinks there are serious questions from Ms May over the extent to which the Home Office had oversight the contract. The Defence Secretary Philip Hammond is also expected to deal with some of the implications for the troops when he responds to the Prime Minister questions in the Commons later. Ms May said she was only made aware of the scale of the problem at the GS on Wednesday. Prime Minister David Cameron said the government had been monitoring potential Olympic problems since taking over in 2010. Obviously, the G4S issue, the full extent of that didn't come to light until relatively recently, as they were going through final stages of hiring the temporary staff, he said. Let me pay tribute to the soldiers who are going to do a great job of making sure that we deliver a secure Olympic. The Mayor of London, Boris Johnson, said it's absolutely vital that we get the message across that these games are going to be very, very safe. Obviously, you can never be complacent about security. You can never take anything for granted, and huge amounts of work continue to be done, particularly in the intelligence, to make sure that we have anticipated every conceivable threat, but London will be very, very safe. And he added, I think we are still in the last moment before the curtain's up, and there's still be a bit of pre-curtain up jitters and casting around for things to talk about. When the athletics get going, when the whole work kicks off, when the opening ceremony begins, then I think a lot of these issues that we are currently not discussing will melt away.
Very nice.
That was much better.